Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Finally,
they finally gave me my own podcast.
Gerry comes to the Low Blows Network. One of the biggest legends of the Irish wrestling scene, Gerry talks to his wrestling friends and beyond about the hobbies in their lives that they're most nerdy about in Talk Nerdy to Me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another Talk Nerdy to Me with your host, Gerry. You know, I am sick to death today.
You know what? I should just give you a surname. Just give you a surname. What about Gerry Nerdy or something like that?
Gerry Nerdy. No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Gerry Nerdy.
Gerry Vader.
Oh, Jesus, no. Like, that just makes me really nerdy. No, not that bad. You know, I'm going to put it out there to our illustrious leader, Mr. Nash. You know, if you want to give me a surname, you know, grand. Because think about it, it's been, 8 years this year now, the lifespan of Low Blows was Wrestling Parties Ireland, then into Low Blows. Like and, you know, if you want to give me a surname, because, you know, I've been here for a long time, and let's be honest with you, Rick, I'm the man that... every time I laugh at that.
Never gets old.
I made the Low Blows. I made the Low Blows. I was the man that when you walked up that stairs in Captain America's, I was the first guy you saw when you went down. I was the last guy you saw when you leave. I was the backbone of that
reassuring
company.
Smile.
I was the man that was there. And what has he done?
He's just giving you a podcast.
He's just giving me a podcast.
You make it sound like it's a bad thing talking to me right now.
But that's just it. 8 years on, I have not once appeared on the main podcast.
Really?
Not once.
You sure about that?
I'm deadly serious.
I'm a bit shocked by that.
I always go, Gerry, of course, yeah, no problem, Gerry, we're going to have you on the show this week. Yeah, we're going to have you on the show.
Technically, I was on it, but not actually in there talking as part of one of those quizzes that he does sometimes.
That's not making me feel any better, Dave.
I don't know what to say.
Thanks for that, Dave.
I'm just saying. But even then...
Moving swiftly on.
He's giving me dead eyes right now.
I should give you dead eyes. You deserve it. Our guest this week, ladies and gentlemen, is a former wrestler. And you will have heard his sultry voice on another podcast on the network. That is Paddy's New Yacht. Is that the name of it? Mm-hmm. Never listened to it myself. Now, I'm not a big sports person myself. But this man has had his finger in many different pies. But he's coming to talk to us about something that you may not know about him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Keegan Ward.
Good evening.
There's your round of applause. What do you think of that fantastic studio audience?
Jesus, you're all dressed as chairs in there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they're all...
It's like the last wrestling show I do.
Oh. Wow, who was that for? Keegan, we're you know... We've seen you wrestle.
Apologies.
Always loved your wrestling. I did. I always loved your wrestling. We have heard your sultry tones, as I say, on the other podcast, Paddy's New Yacht with Rick and Kento. You're a big rugby man, but you're not here to talk about any of that this evening. What are you here to talk about, Keegan?
Well, you know, we're talking nerdy, and it's I'm happy to finally be promoted to the big show. So cheers, lads, for having me, and appreciate that.
Oh, there we go. Where's that brown envelope?
But you see, we all have our nerdy side. Some people like sport, pornography, pets.
I hope not all three at the same time.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, it's a weird order. I apologize.
Yeah.
But the thing that I have been clinging on to my entire life, there's two things. One of them is the normal thing, Batman Forever, right? Not Batman Forever, the film. But maybe we'll talk about that later. But Batman is one thing, and Star Trek. Not Star Wars, not what was the Megatron, none of that. Star Trek, but specifically Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Star Trek. Well, me and Dave talked a little bit about this last week when I talked about what was not last week. God, that's about 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
I talked a little bit about the fact that this was the very first thing that I grew up watching, which was Star Trek: The Next Generation. So, Keegan, let's talk about how did you get into liking Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Well, much like a lot of people, I think I'm the right age for it. 27 years of age now myself, a while ago, and I started with trying the original series. So I'm not old enough for when that screened the first time, so it's the reruns. But I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I had a complete irrational hatred for Shatner for no real reason. I'm sure he's lovely. I just hated him.
Oh,
on
God,
sight.
no, I heard he's horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assumed he was listening, but if he's not,
Oh, we
I
will
hear
be,
he's a
Mr.
prick.
Shatner.
Yeah.
I'll you know, we're name dropping here. I'll send that check out in the post.
Yeah, hurt me toe there dropping that name. But I have an irrational dislike for him. I'm sure he's lovely. So I stopped. And then Sky started running the teasers, the ads.
Yeah.
And you got Picard's voice and all posh. And I was like, maybe this is the new one. I'll give this a shot. I'm the right age for it. Less, weird sexual overtones that Shatner had, going to planets and starting his own cults and species and
Every
things.
single episode, he had a new woman.
He wrote a green bitch, like. Now listen,
She was an Orion.
That's
what she was.
An Orion, O'Reilly. I don't know who she was, but no, it's the same story over and over again. Jesus, I don't know. Maybe he had Viagra or something in space, and that was it. But it wasn't my thing. But Picard, I kind of knew he was a classier individual when it came to Dr. Crusher and things like that. But I fell in love straight away.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of, in each series there was at least one episode that stayed with me up until the very end, which I think is the greatest ending of any episodic TV show ever.
I have to agree with you. I absolutely have to agree with you. That two-part at the end, all good things.
Yeah.
My God, what an ending to a show!
It was absolutely fun, and they've baddies to suit your every need. There's the crew gets bigger and gets smaller with every single series. Miles O'Brien is the greatest character in the history of the world because he made money doing nothing in The Next Generation.
He literally stood in the same position every single episode and pressed a button.
He was just counting the money all the way through. He'd just zip people in.
Are we sure he doesn't work for Dublin City Council? Because that's what they do.
Possibly.
But he should have brought in some of the kind of Roddy Doyle-isms while he's doing it. Like, there's a video on YouTube of Colm Meaney just saying Jesus for 20 minutes.
I saw that last week. It's brilliant. And it starts out with Jesus.
Yeah.
And then, Jesus! And then the great one from the Snapper. Jesus Christ! My God,
But
how
could you
good is
imagine,
that?
right? Picard's in trouble down on the planet and he gets the beep, beep, beep. Bring us back up, mother. I don't know what the language rules are.
Go ahead. You say what you want.
But bring me back up, sir. And you could just see him going, having a cup of tea or a can of harp or something. Jesus Christ! Zips him back in, trying to pretend to be sober when Picard gets back on the boat. But yeah, Next Generation was my thing. Two of my three first loves are on that show.
Oh, you're going to have to go into more detail about that.
All right, well, I love doctors, right?
Oh.
Dr. Crusher now.
You
A moment of silence.
You had
for
a
that
crush on Dr. Crusher.
Listen, it was more than a crush. Like I would hurt myself just so that she would operate on me. You know what I mean? So I kept running myself over with cars, but she didn't exist.
So I'm assuming that when it came to the second season and she wasn't there, you were very upset.
I was heartbroken, but thankfully, back in the days of VHS, like we were talking about earlier on, I had the first series was probably about 4.5 foot high of VHS in the double packs. They were probably taller than me at that stage. So I just rewatched it again in a dark room. But that's enough about that. And then, my second of my three loves could read minds.
Oh, Deanna Troi.
Yeah, and I could just imagine sitting in a room with her, just testing her abilities. What am I thinking about now? How about now?
I have to say there was something about Councillor Troi. I don't know. Was it her voice? Was it her hair? Just like I don't know. I'm a big fan for curly hair, and she always had this long, jet black curly hair. What was it about?
Well, in 2019, I can't say what I found attractive about Deanna Troi, but I'll say that. Here, look, I like strong women, you know what I mean? And the two of them were strong women in the confines of the show. She's a Tottenham Hotspur supporter, so I don't know if that means anything to anyone. But two strong women, two pivotal points in stories. So, the Doctor was always involved in everything while she was there.
Yeah.
And whenever they couldn't think of anything to say or anything to do, they'd just bring in Troy. And she'd go, I'm thinking I'm going to have some chips tonight, or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'd go, yes, you are. So, and then there was Riker as well, always trying to get in there, you know what I mean? He's like, hello, I have a beard now. Show me. And she said, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. I love the fact, though, that you can see with Riker that they wanted to bring a little bit of that Kirk-ism into him. But it kind of surpassed Kirk, and it was just Riker. That's all it was. Yeah. Like, even how he sat down on the chair in the captain's ready room.
Yeah.
He would never just sit down. He had to literally put his leg right over it and sit down that way. I'm like, oh, that's no, he is kick-ass. He is cool.
He was classy, like, and you can kind of, every movement he made, like you're saying, was just, I'm still in this scene from Patrick Stewart, you know, he'd go into work every day going, Shakespeare me whole, like, I'm going to stick my leg up here.
Like, Patrick Stewart, absolutely one of the best actors of all time. Absolutely amazing. But there were times, as you say there, that, you know, Riker going, you know, feck that. I'm the pivotal point of this scene. Let's see how it goes.
And Worf would do that as well. Anytime, you know, Worf gets a line, you could see his eyes light up. Go, this is my moment. And he'd get that deep voice like Jason Momoa. And he'd go, I'm going to shoot something.
I have to say now,
Worf.
He had a very girly hairdo for like 6 years in The Next Generation. Then all of a sudden, boom, he gets this really long hair and he just looks badass.
Yeah, well, look, it's the same with beards as well, you know. Sometimes when you're half cut, the beard is halfway there.
Yeah.
It can look a bit effeminate.
Yeah.
As a beard on a man's face.
The way I look at Worf, I think it was series 1 to series 5, I think we had that short hair, like shoulder length hair, but it kind of curled in.
And it was very shiny as well.
Yeah,
I remember
it just looked like He-Man. Looked like He-Man's hair from the cartoon.
That's right.
Except it wasn't blonde.
It wasn't
blonde.
Yeah.
But very, very similar. So you said there at the start that was you took like your best episode from each series. What was it? What were your best episodes?
The one that I will forever, outside of the finale, the one that I will forever remember is when you've put me on the spot now, the engineer who ran the holodeck had
Barkley.
the Deanna Troi holodeck story that he would come and go from. Because I was watching Black Mirror, and they completely ripped it off in Black Mirror. But it was like, I'd always go back to that one and go, right, if I was him, what would I do? And, you know, what am I going to tell you I'd do and what am I going to keep to myself? But it's like, yes, that's exactly what I do. But, you know, you always, because it's only 40 minutes long, he's got to get caught at some point, you know. And apparently he was walking into the bridge with a massive erection. They're wondering what happened. And he's like, yeah, I was down the holodeck. One of these, you know, find your own endings or what choose your own ending stories.
Yeah.
And it was a happy ending for him, apparently. But
I'm sure it was. I tell you, if there was one piece of technology I could take to Star Trek, it would have to be a holodeck.
Oh,
so many people say no, a replicator. You could have any food. No, the sheer amount of sex that you could have with whoever you wanted to have on the holodeck, and that's what you could do, or do literally anything. Murder your worst enemy over and over and over again.
Yeah, be like Groundhog Day, but just savage. Yeah. And you could, jeez, brilliant. All right, we need to put this out there. Someone invent a holodeck that we can use, right? Because none of us want to go to work, so let's invent this, all right?
Like, even something as simplistic as you could have Disney World. If you couldn't afford to go to Disney World, you could have Disney World.
Oh, you're being a grown-up about this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
A bit of fantasy.
Oh, what's your fantasy? Bringing the family to Disneyland.
All right, we'll have every porn star there ever was on the holodeck at once, and we'll just do all of them at the same time.
What's this wee business? It's not a spectator sport.
I'm talking about me and Dave.
All right, okay, I'll watch that.
Although David more like he'd just stand back and stand in the corner.
What would you do?
I don't know, like
you probably just
putting you on the spot there, Dave.
I like to think
judging everyone's technique.
I like to think because you're a spectator that you're the director, therefore it's not as exactly as how you see it. So,
in fairness, all you need is a pair of sunglasses, and you look like a massive porn director.
No, he needs a French beret as well.
A beret. Yeah, that's what I need, and I need to. Yeah, I tell you what, I'll go to a party dressed as that at some point, and we'll see if I can get away with it.
I'll bring the camera.
We need to put that's on a t-shirt there, you know what I mean?
This has gone so off. Right, so
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Your favourite episode was obviously the one about
the holodeck,
in the holodeck.
I loved any time they introduced a new baddie. So when they bring in, like, they have all the normal ones that they kind of had to drag in from the original, but then I remember meeting the Borg for the first time.
Fantastic.
And I was like, what? I know he's got half a football stuck to the top of his head, but like, this is it.
Yeah.
It's over. Everything's over. And even the first film, or was the second film of the Next Generation where they had the Borg in it?
It was their first standalone, which was First Contact.
Yeah, because I remember Generations had the two boys in it. Yeah,
both of them in it. Well, you had Sulu and Scotty in that as well.
Yeah.
But First Contact was the first standalone Next Generation film.
Yeah.
And it was just Borg, and like literally you're 2 minutes into the film, and it's this massive battle between Starfleet and the Borg, and it's absolutely chaos.
They're the perfect bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
They've two of the perfect bad guys. Obviously Q as well, which you don't know what he is at different times.
He's very much a tweener.
Yeah,
very much a tweener.
But the Borg they're the perfect bad guy because they take, like, when they took Picard in the film, you're kind of going, this is it. There's no more Next Generation films, unless they promote like Deanna Troi or something. Just be fine.
Oh God, imagine her as captain.
Girl power, No, but no. Do you know what would happen? Something good would happen. She'd go, yeah, I meant to do that. You know what I mean?
You're so getting into trouble.
I was actually just about to do that. I knew you were going to do that because I can read minds.
Oh, yeah, because the whole.
I'm not being sexist.
No, nothing to do with that. It's just he's psychic.
Yeah,
that's what it was. I get that. That was best of both worlds. The double episode, basically feature length episode.
They did that really well as well. The finales of every series were just fantastic.
Yeah,
and then you kind of go, you roll into All Good Things, and you go. I was ready for this to end kind of in the series before. I kind of had gotten to the end of it on my Next Generation journey, and then they started into this series, and you knew it was the last one, and you go, they're going to put Q in the end of this.
I had to be Q.
And what are they
It began with Q. I had to end with Q.
It was just and you're dead right. He's in between, and sometimes he can just be a vile, mean prick.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes he's just trying to teach you a lesson by being a vile, mean prick. You know what I mean?
Like, even look at the episode where Picard was on an away mission, and he either stabbed or shot, so the fake heart that he had stopped working.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be, he went to heaven, and Q is God. Which I think would be fantastic if Q was God.
I'll take that.
And then he brings him. Well, what we are meant to believe is that he brings him back in time, that he can change his life. So he doesn't get into this fight with an Oskin that gets stabbed in the chest and doesn't have to get a fake heart. So then he goes and he does science.
Yeah.
And he's a lieutenant on the Enterprise in modern day. And like, no, that's not what I want. I want to be the badass captain that everyone knows I want to be. But you see, it's all just happening inside Picard's head. It's just this little joke that Q is having. None of this has actually happened. It's just Q having a laugh. And it's those type of episodes, I think, that's why Q is the best one, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know of many other shows who have a baddie like that, who he's almost a moral compass by default in the thing. He's kind of going, this is where you are, this is where you could be. Life is a train of decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And take one of those away.
Yeah, like even the first encounter they had with the Borg, had he not done that, they would have encountered the Borg a year or 2 or 3 years down the line. Wouldn't have had a clue anywhere. I wouldn't have been prepared, even though they weren't really prepared when it happened, but they had knowledge of them.
They were aware, yeah.
He warned them. Now, even though people got killed in the warning, he still warned them and said, listen, these guys are coming. You have no idea what's happening. You have no idea what's in this galaxy. You are just a tiny speck of what is contained in this galaxy. And he warned them about the Borg.
And that's what we are as humans as well. You know what I mean? Like, Q's not just talking in Star Trek land.
No.
You know? But do you remember when it all kicked off, when Next Generation was arriving?
Yeah.
And there was kind of, what is this? I remember reading about it. It's like, Star Trek's dead.
Yeah.
It's gone. They had 2 good films in the original 100 films or whatever it was. Star Trek 17 with, they're in the old folks' home clicking on the badge that does nothing,
Yeah.
And then this arrives, because the stories of Patrick Stewart not unpacking his bags for 6 months when he started and all this
he
sort of
was
stuff.
certain that was it. They wasn't going to last. He was certain it was a one series thing and that was it. It was going to be cancelled and that was it. And it lasted for 7 years.
But if you read the script, the first script online, it's brilliant. Even, and now you can't imagine, and maybe it's because you can put faces to the parts, and it's very different when you read it that way. Maybe it's different when you don't have that, but reading it, you just go, how did it not last that long? You know, and they're bringing it back now as well.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Obviously now we're 2019. So many things have happened. You've had many different series after Next Generation. Yeah. Next Gen went into Deep Space Nine, which went into Voyager, which went into Enterprise, which then took a break. You had a lot of movies in between. Finished up with Nemesis and 10. Took up a couple of years off. Came back to this new trilogy of Star Trek, which for me I didn't like. Now we're into Discovery.
Yeah,
and now it's announced that it's already started shooting, or they're making it, whatever now. Picard is coming back. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a bit like Guns N' Roses coming back. You kind of go, yeah, well, I remember this. This is for me, because I don't feel they make anything, whether it's music, films, or they don't even make Batman for me anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is for me, and I'll watch it, and it's probably going to be made by someone who was not alive when the Next Generation was on.
Yeah.
They've no idea what it was, the nuances, the interplay between the people, even simple things, how they moved around. Mm-hmm. He or she is not going to get that. So I'll give it a shot, give it a try.
Like it's something you want, but you just don't know whether it's going to be good or not.
Yeah, it's the party that we should go to. We'll probably have a good time, but the amount of effort it takes to mentally and emotionally invest in getting dressed, having a shower, you know, maybe shaving your party area. Is it really worth the effort? You know what I mean?
Well, let's hope Patrick Stewart has his party area shaved for this series.
But you kind of go, like, because you're a better judge than me, because I Next Generation I was in, and then Deep Space Nine. I enjoyed the first couple episodes, and then I was like, it's a fucking space station.
Yeah.
Is it going to fly around? Like, what's going on? When are we going to use reverse thrusters or something? It's like, okay, Miles O'Brien is more in this sound. He's married now. And then Voyager, because I went to the Star Trek convention in Malahide Castle, and they showed the European premiere of Star Trek Voyager there. And I watched it, and I was going, this is not very good. This is not enjoyable. And so that didn't last very long. So I definitely stopped at that stage.
I didn't like the first season of Voyager. It wasn't for me. But after that, then it seemed to pick up. And then, but when you get to season 4, and you've got that amazing bad guy as the Borg, and the Borg are back, but they're more involved, more insidious, they have more of a voice than the originals. The originals, they barely spoke. There was like nothing. But then you've got this new character to them. And then you've got the Queen that was in First Contact movie, and she's part of it as well. And she almost has a vendetta against Janeway and the crew. And then you've got Seven of Nine, who was an ex-Borg. For me, it just kind of, it flowed. Absolutely flowed. But you just didn't see any interest in Voyager.
Well, I'll have to check that out, because I completely was gone by that stage. And I kind of felt that if they're going to bring someone back or something back, they're just going to jab it with steroids and try and take attention away from the shortcomings of the show. You know what I mean? I just never, maybe I was just too attached to the Next Generation, which happens. People are like that with Star Wars and all that sort of stuff too. They're attached to a character, and if that changes, the whole thing it's not for them anymore.
Well, that's the best thing about Star Trek now, is that it's all so accessible. You know, it's not like difficult to watch, or you're not going to put much effort into it. It's just simply you log into Netflix. There's every series of every season. Give it a go.
Well, what's the new one like? The new series like?
Discovery. It for me, I like it, but I don't consider it. How do I say this? It's Star Trek, but not as you know it.
Oh, it's a great way of putting it.
It's Star Trek, but not as you know it. It's set 5 years before Kirk.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
See,
I know nothing about it.
The main problems that people were having was, obviously, it's made in 2017, 2018, 2019. So obviously we're going to use the technology we have nowadays to make it look shiny and brand new and fantastic.
Yeah.
And people were giving out, it doesn't look like the original. Because the original was made in the 50s.
Yeah.
And it looked shit.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we like have everything nice and sparkly and shiny, have a massively huge bridge?
But this is exactly it. Like, that's the people had Star Trek, the original series, and that was theirs.
Yeah.
You can't then expect to be exactly the same. It's never going to be the same. And that was my issue going past The Next Generation.
Yeah.
And like, I know friends of mine who were never into this type of stuff, who've gone to see the new films even, and they loved them. I was like, it's too shiny. You know
I don't like the new films. I don't like calling them Star Trek films. I call them sci-fi action films. And I just take that away from it. I take that it's a really good sci-fi action movie. I don't put it into context that it's Star Trek. My wife loves them. She loves Chris Pine. He's Kirk.
Yeah, she's a perv, I heard that.
Yeah, absolute perv. She was saying, like, you look great in the shower the other night.
To you?
No, yeah, she was saying it to me, but you were in the shower.
That's what I thought. Same beard.
Same beard.
Same hairy arse.
Oh no, mine's far hairier. If I stood on me hands, it would look like you. You know what I mean? Oh, that's fine.
That's actually a compliment because it's a nice arse you've got there.
Fucking fantastic arse.
It's a pity you're sitting in.
Oh, I'm not always going to say something there. I'm going to say it. No. I've lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Again.
That's Chris Pine.
Oh, Chris Pine. Yeah. She absolutely loved the new series. I loved the new films.
Films, yeah.
And she's, oh God, this is great. Is all the other Star Trek like this? I was like, no, not even in the slightest.
But what is different about those films? Like,
they're funny. It's like every thing nowadays. Like, Marvel, you've got Batman, you've got Justice League, you've got Iron Man, and all stuff like that. And for whatever reason, it can't be serious anymore. It has to be funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people won't watch it. So that's what they tried to do with Star Trek. They tried to make it. There was rock music in it. There was him drinking whiskey in a bar in it. He got into a bar fight. Now, obviously, Kirk would do something like that. But there was other stuff in it, like, this is not Star Trek.
Yeah.
For me, as I say, I took it that it was a good sci-fi action movie. But I didn't put it in the same context because it completely destroyed the timelines. Basically, how it worked was the old Spock went back in time and prevented this Romulan from killing Kirk. But everything changed. Absolutely everything changed. Spock's mother died, so he went crazy. And it was completely, him and Uhura were going out. They were bumping uglies. It was everything had changed. So all the storylines had changed, so there was nothing that was going to be the same. So for me, it was like, no, you just destroyed my Star Trek.
But so then is it just this self-sufficient thing over on the right?
Oh yeah, you don't have to include it in Star Trek because it's a completely different timeline, completely different, and nothing. You don't have to stay with it.
Well, I remember that one. If I will sit down and watch them, I need, like we were saying before, I need the panic to die down about it because my mates were really, really did love them, and maybe it was just they didn't have this emotional baggage of the Next Generation, the original series, Deep Space Nine, all that sort of stuff.
Well, the thing for me was, especially with the new films, and the hype has definitely died down about them. There was supposed to be a fourth one. It was supposed to have Chris Pine in it. It was supposed to have Chris Hemsworth in it, who originally was in the first film Captain Kirk's father.
Okay.
They both signed on, and then they both left. And then all the other actors have now left as well. So it's not being made. So it's just that's a trilogy, and that's it.
Well, if anyone's listening and they want to make that fourth film, the three of us will do it.
I've got to be Bones. I've got to be Dr. McCoy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Look, I don't have the hairline to play Captain Kirk, so...
Therefore, it's me.
Yeah. He's got nice hair.
Yeah,
Dave's got nice hair.
Yeah, but I have I'm almost half balls with my...
But you know what the best part is, Dave? You can grow it.
Oh no, I'm shaving it quite often.
That's the worst. People who shave their head knowing that they could have a full bushy head of hair. They're worse. They're like the people who wear glasses who don't need them. The hipsters. It's like...
You mean like this pair right here?
No, you need those to read.
I don't.
Oh,
I only need them for distance.
Yeah, I'm the same.
That's what I mean. You need them.
I don't need them to read. I need them to read license plates when I'm driving.
Look in the window when you're up the tree.
It's like both of us wearing glasses. I wear glasses for the same reason.
Yeah.
Both of us wearing that right now.
But that's what I mean. You need them. You know what I mean? There's a purpose for them. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm talking about the people who wear tighter jeans than I'm wearing and they don't need glasses.
And you have extremely tight jeans.
Yeah, and two bunches of fruit down the front as well, just in case this goes tits up. I'm going to be just lying down on the table here.
I was going to say something. Every single time in the show, I go to say something. I was like, no, don't say that for God's
I don't know
sake.
why they don't put us on the main podcast. Like, you know what I mean?
This is the main podcast.
Oh, sorry,
the secondary podcast.
Yeah, sorry, secondary podcast.
You know, it's called the Low Blows show, but that's the secondary podcast. This is the main podcast.
I agree. No, look, I agree. As I said, I got promoted up here for 45 minutes, so
absolutely,
I do appreciate that.
Absolutely. So obviously we've gotten seriously off topic. So let's go back to a bit of Next Generation.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So
Serious.
obviously for a lot of people, it was brand new.
Yeah.
It was this brand new thing. It wasn't Kirk anymore. It was set 95 to 100 years further into the future. What did you think of the fact that, you know, Kirk was this brash officer that basically did what he wanted, whereas Picard was, you know, he went by the Prime Directive.
He did, but he was also, I thought he was a badass because he was aware of the game he was trying to play, whatever the situation was. He was aware of the rules that he would have to bend to do whatever they were going to have to do. And I never liked Kirk. As we said, I never got it. I just wasn't the right age. I'm the right age for Picard. I liked what he did. I liked he had a rationale behind everything. He wasn't crazy. Not crazy, but he wasn't a loose cannon. He was very controlled. Until things like the episode where the gas gets out on the ship and they all start loving each other and he's in there with the doc, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what would happen. You know, read my mind, baby, kind of stuff. But I liked the way he managed everything, whether it was people, whether it was conflict, whether it was just getting somewhere. And I kind of fell in love with that pretty quick. And then I kind of liked the guys around him, how he managed Riker, because you always knew the backstory was Riker would probably stab him in the back if he could. You know what I mean? Give him an old shank there. You know?
You know what? I've never actually thought about it like that before, but yeah, I absolutely agree.
But I also think that
So what you're saying is he's the Ambrose to Picard's Seth Rollins or something like that.
Yeah.
Just nudge him enough and eventually.
Yeah.
I don't understand what those words meant. So.
Wrestling fans probably would.
Weird sex lingo.
For Dave, yes.
Slingo. Hashtag Slingo. But don't point that at me. But sorry, yeah, I kind of always thought that. Okay, I thought that if I'm holding a gun to Picard's head, Riker would try and save him. But if the opportunity arose to get the big seat,
he always wanted that seat.
Yeah, I think he would, and he could get away with it. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a very smart guy. I think he would kind of, you know, piss in his Earl Grey tea or whatever he's going to do. That wouldn't kill you. That'd just be very uncomfortable, apparently.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine piss and Earl Grey taste the same. I'm not a big fan of Earl Grey tea, I have to say. But you've got the one thing about
piss, on the other hand.
Well, yeah, I like a bit of piss every now and then. You know, believe me, there's many drinks out there that taste like piss. Proper 12, for instance. Is it Proper 12? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I haven't tried. It's too expensive.
Proper
12? Yeah, don't bother.
How much is it?
35 quid.
Compared to Jameson, you can get for 20.
Yeah.
Well, there was around Christmas.
And that's a nice piss.
Tangent number 17 here, but up in Tesco they have like the stand with it,
right?
And they had to put a sign up going maximum 2 per customer. Like the people at Bray were wrecking the Proper 12 whiskey.
And then the Proper 12 whiskey was wrecking the arses off them.
That's
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, Bray was getting a bit violent there for a while, and then that's the Proper 12.
So we talked a bit about that lovely ending.
Yes,
all good things, but there was always every season had 1 or even 2 double header episodes. So apart from all good things, what do you think was your best one? There was 2 for me. 3 for me. I loved. Best of Both Worlds was the Borg invading.
Yeah.
Redemption, which was Worf trying to redeem his family honor in the Klingon Civil War.
Yeah.
And then there was Unification, which had Spock. For me, was fantastic. So what for you?
So you're a Spock guy, are you?
I'm a Spock guy in terms of Next Generation. I wasn't a big. I didn't watch the original series. Watched. I've never watched. To this day, I've never watched. I did watch the movies, and I took for them what I wanted to take from them.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched Wrath of Khan the other night.
That's my favourite of the lot.
Fantastic movie.
I think
absolutely
that'll
fantastic
still
movie.
work now, but the rest of them I'm not in. But the endings, I like the Civil War, the Klingon Civil War, because that was for the geeks. You know what I mean? There was a lot of backstory, there's a lot of information on the Klingons in there as well.
Yeah.
And you can kind of turn to your other geeky friends and go, I fucking knew that.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the Klingons in The Next Generation? Did you think they were good?
I liked Worf most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any strong feelings about Klingons. I thought, based on what they look like, I thought, they're Marmite. But I had no strong feelings at all. I kind of felt like it was a bit like Janet Troy we were talking about, where they didn't have any ideas, so they go, right, send her in and she's going to say she remembered something or saw something. And I kind of thought, okay, every season or every other season they've got to have a big Klingon storyline. I did enjoy any time they talk about getting in depth on the Civil Wars and stories, 2-episode stories I loved. But the once-off, I was like, I was never a Klingon guy.
There was a lot of once-off episodes, and they didn't seem to gel. But going back to like the new stuff, how they look and how they act and how they were perceived in The Next Generation has been completely thrown out the window for this new series Discovery. They don't look the same. They don't sound the same. They don't act the same. Their weapons are different. Their ships are different. None of them have hair. Like, they're all bald. Now, there was a bit of a backlash when it came to the first season, and people were not happy with the fact that you've changed the Klingon so much. Like, you've got these big, almost clawed hands now.
See, that's weird. Like, really weird. I get reimagining things, but the Klingons aren't a brand new species. If you think of something brand new and you go, okay, fine, or maybe you give the Ferengi an extra wrinkle or something or whatever, that's fine. But
this, like, they had the ridges, obviously, but they've got, like, all of them have got, like, full facial prosthetic going on. None of them have had hair. Their batlets and their mechlets and everything was changed. Everything was changed about them, even to the point on how they said, their holy one was Kahless. And it was said, Kahless was said in Next Generation, it was said in Voyager, it was said in Deep Space Nine. But yet they changed the pronunciation of it in Discovery. And that one, like, these little things grained on me. It's
right,
like,
I'm never going to watch it then. I'm not interested. There's no need to do that.
Well, they call Kahless Kailesh. And it just pissed me off.
It's not Irish.
It just really
Did we learn that Irish?
But it was a serious backlash against the design and how they were perceived in
the backlash makes sense. You're taking something that exists.
So they've
decades.
now had to say, right, listen, let's backtrack a little bit here.
Yeah.
We've made a mistake. Let's keep some of the aesthetic that we had from the first season and make it different. So now they have hair. So they're starting to look a little bit more like the Klingons we know and love from The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and whatnot. Apparently, I've heard rumours as well that certain things about them have changed, So they've all got hair, and how they explained the first season that they didn't have hair is that there used to be an old tradition in Klingon society that when they went to war, which happened in Discovery, I won't say any more, I don't want to, in case you watch it.
I hear there's a war.
There's a war. But the old tradition was that they shaved their heads going into war.
Cool. I mean, okay.
So you say, oh, that sounds fine, if it wasn't so stupidly done as the fact that they had their head shaved before the war, because they were bald before the war. So it's a little bit silly how they're trying to explain.
I'm just curious of how they shaved their heads. We talked
about this last week.
Those swords.
This is exactly what we said.
Then we said to ourselves, well, that's obviously how they got the facial ridges, because they just kept cutting themselves.
They're shaving down.
If it happens with Gillette, other razors are available also. It'll happen with a battle sword.
We're not getting into controversy on this show. I am not Eric Bishop. It's not happening, okay? No controversy. Sorry, I'm not even Rick Nash. He likes his controversy, and we're not getting into this show. This is the A show. This is not the B show.
Hashtag Low Blows is the B show.
Low Blows.
I have thrown my panties on the table. Low Blows is the B show.
We're going to have Kigo every week. Every single week.
Although, here, Rick, will you bring me on that podcast as well, will you?
Well, you've been, and that's just 2 out of 3 now, so you've only got one.
That's straddling the network.
You need Justy's podcast as well.
We can't do two beards on 2 beards. There's 3 beards in here, so his excuse is invalid.
Exactly.
Yes, but the thing is, if you talking and him talking would be a 4-hour show, so that just wouldn't work.
Well, I think
it'd be a 2-part show.
I think when the people are ready for it, I think it might happen. We might even do a video as well.
Well, that's what we're planning on doing, a live show.
Yeah,
absolutely planning.
It's got to be done.
Yeah,
but like we were talking about, the reimagining things and changing Klingons, and then kind of going, "Yes, we messed up. We're going to go back."
Yeah,
like Batman is my other nerdy thing.
Yeah.
And they constantly do that, but certain people do it within the realms of the universe that they're living in. They're not all of a sudden going to make Batman wear a bright pink outfit. Now, they did put nipples on him.
Which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And in that film, they also put a codpiece on him that got on the screen 5 seconds before Batman did. You know, what? Batman is Batman. He's not making up for anything.
Which one was that? The Clooney one?
The Clooney one, yeah. You
I'd
could tell when Clooney was coming on the screen.
I'd imagine he was like, yeah, I'm making sure I have a massive Mickey in this one.
Yeah, well, look,
absolutely.
The Mickey clause. You have that. Do you guys not have that in your job, no?
No Mickey clause.
So there's no visuals to this job, so I think that's why we get away with it. So, now imagine when we do Facebook Live, it's a different story. But until then,
I am so padding the shit out of my jeans. I'm going to walk on, and it'll be 10 seconds before you see me. Just good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you saw my penis before you saw me. My mother is so going to listen to this podcast.
Oh yes.
Showing off your soul.
It's like the Kevin Bacon clause in film, where you have to get your lad out at various points in the film. But there was every film Kevin Bacon was in, you could see his.
Currently, at the start of the show, you're complaining about you don't have a surname. Gerry Lads.
Gerry Lad.
Has a ring to it.
Gerry the Lad.
Yeah.
Oh. Jerry's Lad. Jerry's big lad. We're going to go with a variation there. We'll have a think on that.
Yeah,
Jerry Lad.
It's something
Lad.
It's something to start with.
Yeah, I like that.
Or would you go triple barrel? You could do Gerry, Picard, Troy. No, don't. I'd try and have sex with you then. That's not good.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Again, yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It was dark.
Jerry Luke lad. Jerry Luke lad.
How are you going to say that with 7 beers on you? Yeah. It's not just that.
See, the best part about what you just said there is the fact that I actually don't drink anymore.
And I salute you for that. With a face like mine, I have to drink heavily, so dry January became damp very quick.
It's okay for you. You're married now.
A slippery slope to moist.
What are we talking about again?
What's this? Is this a sex podcast?
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
A nerdy podcast.
I just came in here.
Remember.
I was told we were going to talk about Star Trek, and then as soon as you start talking about Star Trek,
you got moist.
Deanna Troi. And I got
a lot of people hate that word. They hate moist. Why? Why do people hate that word?
I don't know.
I love that word.
Well, it's
even how you say it, moist.
Moist.
No, it's how you say it. That's
moist.
Yeah.
People have said I have a very. It's actually you that said that I have a very bassy voice.
Well, it's because it appears so much. It's like it's so sharp when it comes up to recording here. Like so, it's right in front of me. It's like so everyone else is like very soft spoken, and even when you're trying to be soft spoken, it's like good evening.
Yeah. But it's like so. But what you're trying to say is I have the Barry White voice of Low Blows.
Yeah.
So it's like Barry White saying moist.
Isn't it her name? Jerry White.
Jerry White.
Well, I think...
sound like I'm a fucking snooker player now.
Yeah. Who was that? Oh, it was Jimmy.
Jimmy White.
Jimmy's brother, Jerry. He's now into podcasting.
Because he was shy at snooker. I actually played pool. I was playing pool the other night. What was it? 3-1 I beat him. 3-1.
There you go.
So I'm very happy with that.
There you go. You've been instant challenger for... who's the pool champion at the moment?
Oh, it's Phil. Is it Phil?
It's Phil or Dave, I think. I'm not sure. I think it's Dave.
Did he win it back?
I think so.
Well, I tell you what, I'm putting it out there right now to whoever the Low Blows pool champion is.
This is if you keep this name now.
If I keep the name.
If you're Jerry White.
Jerry White. I'll go with Jerry White. Yeah,
we have to get moist in there somewhere.
Jerry the Moist White.
Or just moisture.
Jerry Moist.
You're going to end
White.
up on a list somewhere with that name. That's terrible.
Let's hope it's not a register instead of a list. My God.
It's a bit like the... Anyway, sorry.
This is just absolute crazy.
So we were talking about Deanna Troi, and it's gone on.
Deanna Troi and everything went moist.
If you believe in God, God bless her.
Now, actually...
Hugh bless her.
We've had a lot of visits to Dublin over the last 3 or 4 years of the Next Generation crew. Have you met any of them while they were here?
Well, some of them I'm not legally allowed close to them. I actually met Gene Roddenberry's wife when he was alive. Well, not when he was alive. He was dead.
Well, when she was alive.
She was alive. Yeah. So this was at this convention thing. So I got her to sign my Star Trek encyclopedia.
Why, I have to, because she was literally the voice.
The voice.
Of Star Trek.
She was it. Yeah.
And she was the voice of Star Trek on everything from The Next Generation to Voyager to Deep Space Nine, and even so far as the movies as well. Yeah. She was on that as well.
Now, stupidly enough, I didn't know that. until the weekend of the convention. I was like, her voice is very familiar. How do I know that voice? She's followed me around. Like, what's the story? And then I found out that was who it was. And I was like, how are you able to sign me a book, please?
And of course, she was Deanna Troy's mother in the series.
Correct, yeah. I was like, she wouldn't give me her number, but, you know. It's like, it's not real. I'm not her real. I know you have her number, for fuck's sake.
The autograph will have to do.
In fairness, though, Deanna Troy's, what was her name? The mother. Waxana.
Yeah.
She was a great one for the moistness. Oh, my
sorry,
God.
sorry. We're going to get back into this now in a sec, but could we make that last thing someone's text ringtone? Could someone take that and do that, please?
She was a great one for the moistness. So hold on. Right, I'm going to give it 2 seconds.
Okay, sorry.
2 seconds of silence, and then I'm going to say it again.
I already have it twice. You're grand.
Okay, so we're going to know. You need to have it properly, though, because you need to have the bass.
Yes, you do.
You know,
okay. Sorry. This is Gerry White saying this.
Okay, so Gerry White, yeah. So 2 seconds of silence, and then I'm going to say it again. Okay,
right.
Here we go. She's a great one for the moistness. There we go.
Imagine being in a meeting with the president, and you get a text message. It's just the moment when the peace treaty is just about to be signed, and the cups have hit the table, and the pens are out to sign this world peace. Fucking Gerry gets a text.
She's a great one for the
moistness.
Oh, dear.
You're right and all. Yeah. Sure, look.
You know, I slag Rick Nash every single time I'm on the show, but I'm going to say to you now, please don't cancel us after the show. Please.
Yeah, listen, it's all my fault.
This
I
was
apologise.
supposed to be about Star Trek The Next Generation. We're now talking about Keego's moistness and everything.
Sorry, can we get that
between.
one as well on a 2-second delay?
Okay,
Because I'm taking that one.
Keego's moistness?
Yeah, don't make it sound so sarcastic, though.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Mean it.
Here we go. Keego's moistness.
Bang.
There we
Boom.
go.
That's made my day. That's the whole reason I came out here. Someone to tell me about my moistness.
The fact that there's so many taglines we could give this show is
yeah. What was the hashtag? What was that one? Hashtag Low Blows is the B show.
There you are.
Hashtag Low Blows.
I'm actually going to look. I won't do it now, but I'll do it as soon as we're finished. Let's start a civil war here, guys.
Oh, our own internal civil war.
Blood will be shed.
Blood will be shed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
the fact that we look like Vikings as well, we probably have axes, and we're going to chop them. I won't say.
Probably.
No, I won't say the other word.
We probably have axes. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we do. Definitely do have axes. Yes. Actually, here's a story. My father, where he got it, I'll never know. But he had a tomahawk.
Did he?
He had a tomahawk, and when he was like they had flooding in their house. So they had to gut the house, and when they went and redid it, and it was gone. And I was like, he used to use it for chopping wood. I was like, he used a tomahawk for chopping, yeah.
Class.
Oh, it was fantastic axe. I'd love to have axe back. I've gone way off topic now myself. Don't mind
Talk
you.
About his dad's weapon there in the middle of podcast.
No, not anymore. I can't. Right, Keego, we have a little quiz for you, okay?
I can only apologise ahead of time.
Now, the fact that we've talked more about moistness and Deanna Troy and whatnot.
Respectfully, I would like
Respectfully, absolutely. Let's see if we can actually get these questions in.
Right.
Okay?
Now, before we start, what's the record for the worst results? Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad, that's our mastermind music there, Keegan. This is the lovely quiz we have. We give almost every guest a quiz. The worst record is actually our illustrious leader, Mr. Rick Nash, of 3 out of 10.
I cannot lose to him.
The record is 7 or 8, I think.
8. Foxy got 8.
Foxy.
Myself and Vic got 4.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off I got 4. But I'm going to blame Dave on that because he gave me a really hard test. So I'm going to do another test another day.
You asked for a hard one, to be fair.
In fairness, I did. But you gave me a test on the books and I wanted it on the film. So, go fuck yourself.
I didn't know because wasn't at the time.
Guys, we've got to be together in a civil war, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Just as long as I beat 3.
Now, I'm looking at these questions and going, you should do it.
Don't, that's pressure, like, you know what I mean? That's like someone looking at you going, you should have a big Mickey. You know what I mean?
Nobody has ever said that about me. So it's okay. Right, so the first question.
20 points already.
All right.
Which Star Trek The Original Series actor guest starred in the series premiere of The Next Generation? Escape at Farpoint.
Is there a multiple choice now?
No.
I thought there'd be multiple.
You can either say the actor or the character he played. I don't mind.
I can't do it, Captain.
No. No, you didn't.
That's
no,
my
you didn't
thinking
say.
voice.
You didn't say a name, so it's okay.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's still
I'll give you 3.
How?
Because actually, when I downloaded these questions earlier on. It was multiple choice.
all right.
I'm going to give you 3.
All right.
Spock, McCoy, or Scotty.
Who did I say? It's not Spock. I don't like him. Scotty. McCoy.
It was DeForest Kelly, Dr. McCoy.
I said that eventually.
He was the really old guy that talked to Data on the first episode.
I absolutely do not remember that. I got staged right there.
Now, Tashiar, you know Tashiar.
Jesus, yes.
Okay. How many seasons was Tashiar on the Enterprise as a main character? Not as her alter ego as a Romulan, just as Tashiar.
I actually remember her, Denise Crosby, disappearing. I was like, where did she go?
So how many seasons did she last?
Not as many as I think. I'm either going to say 1 or 3. 1. Come on!
You're 1 out of 2.
All those years in the Denise Crosby fan club has finally paid off.
Wait.
It was only me.
We meet the Borg for the first time in the second season episode Q Who. Who was the first person in the episode to actually say the word Borg? And you have 3 possible answers here. Q, Picard, or Guinan?
Guinan.
Correct.
She would be the only one who would know.
Yeah. In the episode The Game, and it's not Triple H we're talking about here, okay? In the episode The Game, the crew becomes addicted to a video game. Who brings it on board?
I've no idea.
Just wild guess. I'll give you a clue. It's one of the main cast, obviously. So you have a 1 in 7 chance.
Who would bring a game on board?
Well, who's fun enough to bring a game on board?
Wesley Crusher. Oh. Who was it?
Commander Riker.
I didn't think it was going to be him, obviously. I just need 2 more.
Just no. Well, you need 2 more to beat Rick. Beat Rick.
Beat Nick. Who's Nick?
Saint Nick. Which Star Trek The Next Generation episode from season 4 shares a name with one of the Star Trek The Next Generation movies? Now, obviously, there's only 3. We don't include Generations of this because it's not their standalone. So you've either got First Contact, Insurrection, or Nemesis.
I was going to say Nemesis.
Is that your answer?
That'll be my answer.
First Contact.
So when are we starting recording this podcast, lads?
Oh, around the way.
I'll give you a little bit of backstory. First Contact, Commander Riker was evaluating a species who were developing warp technology. However, he ended up in a hospital, forcing Captain Picard and Deanna Troi to contact the Malkorian government to try and arrange for his safe return.
First Contact, yeah, jeez.
Yeah, okay. What is Worf's favourite drink?
Fuck. You know when things are going bad and you No, I don't know. Proper 12. Don't know.
Proper 12. Prune juice.
No, I would never go. I wouldn't have even had a notion.
So we're on 2 out of 6 so far.
Okay, so you've got 1, 2, you've got 4 questions left. Okay, 4 questions. Okay. How did the season 4 episode Redemption, so obviously we know Redemption was the Klingon Civil War, Redemption Part 1, how did it end? And I'll give you a little clue here. One of the crew that was a main character in this story, he did something at the end of this episode. What did he do? Now think about this one for a minute, because you know this episode. I'll give you another hint. What did Worf do at the end of this episode?
I don't remember any of this episode.
Klingon Civil War.
Yeah.
Worf goes to regain his honor.
It's a massive
Picard doesn't really want him to be involved in it, so he does something right at the end.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. I'm gone.
You don't know?
I'm gone, I'm fried. It's that noise.
Worf resigned his commission.
Nah, fuck, I've never got that.
Under pressure now.
Oh.
Lads,
You have to at least tie with Rick.
this is getting...
You have to.
Yeah, okay.
Where one of the most devastating battles against the Borg took place in the best of both worlds, where did the big battle take place? You always hear them talking about it. It's where the big battle of best of both worlds took place. And I'll give you a clue here. It's an animal with 3 numbers.
I'm gone. I'm about to cry in front of everybody. I'm gone.
I'm going to give you a second to think about it. We need to get the the countdown timer.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what we need to get.
Yeah, but I think that'll be more off-putting. I mean, he's having a hard time with the noises, aren't you? So
I'm just not good with, answers. That explains my education. Don't know. No idea. No idea.
Wolf 359.
No, that's not right.
so at this stage, you
I'm worried now. I was like, oh, we needed him. We needed him to beat Rick. We needed him to beat Rick.
This Civil War is going to get bloody if I don't get one more.
Yeah.
Next...
What is the woman's name who Picard became involved with in the episode Captain's Holiday? So I'll give you a bit of backstory here. Captain went to Risa. He's having a little quiet holiday, meets a woman who's an archaeologist. They strike up a friendship, and then he finds out that she's a bit of a con artist as well, and she's working for a Ferengi. Now take your time with this.
See, I have a name in my head. Starts with a W, which is wrong.
I can tell you you're dead wrong there.
Because
but it's very close to W.
I have...
I'm giving you every opportunity here to help you beat Rick.
Oh. Are you?
No. No, as I said, it's
like...
I'm not going to help you with that. As I said, the W was close.
It's near W.
Yeah.
I didn't witness anything.
N-O-P-Q-R-S-T-U-V.
Oh, there we go.
Vash, get that.
Yay!
No, that's 3. Right.
That's
now you're
that's
tying
high,
with him. Okay, you're tying
Rick,
with him.
I'm coming for you.
You're not Booker T. Don't say it.
I didn't say it.
We're coming for you. No, don't say it. No, don't say it.
He didn't even beep me there. I didn't say it. I can't get in trouble.
Yeah.
You're
so here
on
we
it.
go. Last question.
We need a beep. Beep. We need one of those.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No, I can't handle this.
Last question for you to beat Rick Nash and come in joint second with me and Vic. Last question.
And not to be last.
In the double episode Unification, who is the man who helps Spock with his work on Romulus but later betrays him to the Romulans? So, in the double episode Unification, who is the man who helps Spock with his work on Romulus but later betrays him to the Romulans?
Think about it.
How long do I have?
As long as you want.
Am I allowed to Google?
No.
No, you're not allowed to cheat in this type of quiz.
No cheating allowed.
Pardeck.
Is that your final answer?
It's either EK or AK. Pardeck.
What do you think?
Giza.
You got it.
That's it. 4
You
out of
got
10.
4 out of 10. You officially beat our illustrious leader, Rick Nash.
If I could just make a quick victory speech.
Yes, you may.
Rick, I'm not angry with your inability to answer questions. I am just disappointed, but I'm not surprised. And I look forward to beating you at any quiz, at any place, at any time, especially if it involves Dawson's Creek. Your move, nerd.
If that isn't a challenge, I don't know what it is.
Oh, shots fired by Keego there. Shots fired. Well, Keego, thank you very much. That has been the most interesting Star Trek The Next Generation chat I've ever had.
Well, we've kind of gone through psychological deconstruction of a already destructed person, so I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you for the therapy.
But out of everything that we talked about today, we will always have moistness.
I don't think it gets any better than that. You know what I mean?
Star Trek The Next Generation moistness. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure there's some sick fucker out there who go, oh yeah.
So the next Low Blows party, someone has to have that in a t-shirt, you know? Just the word moistness.
Moistness.
Yeah.
Moist or moistness?
Well, I know people hate the word moist. I don't get it now myself. I hate the word alarm.
Alarm.
Yeah. Or I hate the word tiny penis. I don't like when that's shouted at me.
Well, you should really tell your wife not to shout it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the most interesting one that we've done so far. I hope you liked it. I know I liked it. David, you like it?
Very much.
Yeah, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you've been nerdy, I've been Gerry. Or maybe I should have said that the other way around. It doesn't really matter. But this has been Talk Nerdy to Me. Thank you very much. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.